For us, there's still a case. There's still loss of income. There's still, do you know what I mean, all of those things.
There is, eh?
Yeah.
It's not just.
It's not just that.
Yes, we were fighting.
Because some people say, no, fine. No, we'll speak to you guys, to them, for you guys to come back to generations. And I'm like, I don't want that. No. You know what I mean?
Do you still want to come back?
No.
There's still that. There's still that.
No. That ship has sailed. I had a great time there.
Yeah.
But I've thoroughly outgrown it. You know, I'm more than happy to pass on the baton to other people over there. People ask me now, when was the last time you were on a taxi? Literally, when I started the generations, was the last time I went on a taxi.
Because you couldn't do it.
Because you can't. I mean, you could do it for a day or 2 or 3, but every single day of questions about manje wena babakho usibusisa kuphi. You're not going to take that every day. Never mind the snide remarks of like, "Hayi bo usenza ufuna ndla."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Not even that.
Uthi no ngiya-actor.
Ngiyaspana. Yeah,
Uthi
sure.
ngiya-actor.
So actor la.
King David Studio podcast.
Do you know we have a guy who played a gay guy on TV? I wonder if he still has that problem of being identified as a. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get to that.
I can relate.
We have THAMI MNGQOLO in the studio.
Yes,
Grand out here.
Grand Puti. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy you made it because you guys have a line in Generations that says, Senzo Nenza.
Yes, Senzo, Jason, Nenza. It's in back. Hey, it follows me everywhere.
Does it? No way. People do that
to this
still?
day. I was on stage in Mpumalanga at a birthday celebration that I was emceeing. And, initial excitement. Yeah. Man on stage. Eventually you hear the Senzo, Jason, Nenza. Okay, no, this is why we are here.
Wow, man. You are part of popular culture. When people see you in the streets.
No, I'm a Popeye, Chief. I am immortal.
People use a phrase.
You know?
Yesterday on the radio, I don't know where I got this. I guess it's God's gift. I said there's a guy that calls me Avi. And I was talking to the newsreader. Ati, why back busy? Avi. This guy, every time for 3 years, when he meets me, Avi. And I got to a point where I accepted it.
Yeah.
But one day I said, why am I Avi? Mini camera mu David. Why ungifaka ngento ingazazi? No, Avi David. Ngikhatha right. We Avi David. Now, guess what?
I see.
On air, when callers call,
yes.
Hey, Avi.
There we go.
I shouldn't have done that.
Derivatives.
So now you carry the Senzo name.
Oh, forever.
Sure.
Oh, forever. And look, I have chosen to wear it as a badge of honor.
So you accept it?
No, I accept it.
Do you carry the character as well? Because by saying you carry it, do people treat you like the character?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. What you need to understand about that is it's people's first term of reference. You know? In this country, we aren't in the business of creating stars. And I mean that in the sense of, you know, when you think of Brad Pitt, when you think of Will Smith, you know them by name and surname.
Yeah. Big stars. Yeah.
And you'll rattle off their movies afterwards and everything that they've done.
Absolutely.
But you know the name because that's what's been built. That brand has been thrown down your throat for so long.
That's true.
For us over here, and I think it's, you know, just by virtue of the history of the arts in this country and what we come from, it was far more important to have a great production, a great cast, put together a nice ensemble, and make that production great. You know what I mean?
Not necessarily the individual.
Not necessarily the individuals in it. You know, because to this day we still talk about you know,
all of those great.
And
Yes.
absolutely. You know, we remember the productions, but who the individual stars were, yes, when you're a fan, you will get to remember that. No,
naturally,
man, in Mupeme, it was Lillian Dube, absolutely,
and all of that,
absolutely. But like, I think it comes from that.
Yes, but why is there actually? Let me ask it this way: is there value in building the ensemble than building the star? What do you see?
For the industry, it's always better to build the ensemble and have, you know, productions that stand out.
Yeah.
But we are seeing that I think those two should go hand in hand. You know. Because it then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
You have a great production with stars in it, and we create big names out of these stars.
There you go.
Whatever you create from there already has a mass following because now we are going because of the person.
Are we doing that at all?
Not at all.
Are they part of the industry that's trying to build I'm trying to think of stars. Do we even have stars?
Yeah. Look, we do. And I think the term stars we use loosely, because a star for me is someone that is recognized by others in spite of themselves.
Yeah.
Everything they have done, their body of work and what they stand for in terms of their work says to you that no matter what this person touches, it'll be great.
That's
you know?
it. Yeah.
And there are very few of those for me. I'm talking about maybe a Sibonga Twala, Menzingubani.
There you go.
You know, there were certain characters.
Sello.
Yeah.
Sello
Yeah.
Make. You know,
right?
Something good will come out.
That generation of people you look at, and whatever you see them in, you know you're going to get a quality performance from this person. What we don't do is monetize underneath that person. And that support structure that unfortunately it's been seen as, I don't know, if you give it to actors, if you give it to stars in this country, they become too big for their boots. They think they are bigger than the industry.
Is there anything wrong with becoming big?
Shouldn't you? Shouldn't you become big? Shouldn't you wear the value of your work for the rest of your life?
That's it.
Shouldn't I be paid in perpetuity for something that will live in perpetuity, and something that you will make money from for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
So it's those things.
Industrial loan.
It's those things. Industrial
loan.
But that's part of what we had that whole generations.
It's a little battle.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Big battle. You know, but yeah.
When I check out your stories, like, geez, you were one of the Sanyovas.
Yeah.
in the big story.
Again, I always laugh when we hear afterwards, it's good to know we were fired. Like, how are you firing someone that said to you, I'm not coming back until you fix my things?
And that's how the story is captured.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you were fired.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a convenient narrative.
Absolutely.
You know,
like, you know, when they say you were dealt with, and that's how people feel like, no, this is you being dealt with.
Yeah.
If we tarnish your name afterwards and create an impression that we didn't want you anyway.
When we were growing up, steering.
Sure.
We know what we call a steering.
Yes.
It's probably the only country in the world that calls a steering.
And it took us long to figure out that that's actually starring.
Let me ask my nephew, do you know what steering? Go again, steering. You see, he shouldn't know that because his new generation.
It is outlived, right?
His Yenos generation. He shouldn't know steering.
Yeah.
But well, it seems to like we're handing down wrong things. So okay, steering is the main character in the story. Do we do that in South Africa? Do we create the steering in that sense? In the not the stars necessarily, which our understanding of stars, but our South African understanding of stars is the main guy.
Yeah.
Do we create main guy type stories?
No.
We don't.
No. But it's also only because I think we are victims of our own success in the sense that there are so many talented actors, actresses, young people, old people. You know, you it's almost saturated in terms of talent. Yeah. Which is why they can kind of control the market in terms of fees, in terms of just what you think you are worth. If you say you think you are worth 200,000 per month and they say you are not, they can replace you tomorrow, and they do.
There's 3 or 4 of you.
There's 3 or 4 options.
Yeah.
2 are already on standby, by the way, you know, and they've been made aware.
They were told, hold on, we'll call you back.
Yeah. And then, but the silence, or okay. No,
that didn't work. Or when you see the work.
You see the
that's the worst version of it, eh? When you see the work.
From Dev, it's real, man. It's real. But I mean, it's like you raised something that happened to me, for instance, with the whole Ikazi. And Ikazi was not any clash with production or who didn't get along. Production and actors, we were all on the same page season 1. Everything was great, you know. Channel loved it. Channel loved us because we meet at events. We get to speak.
You get along.
And we get along, and everyone's loving the work we have done. Come season 2, time to speak about it, there was just something in the timelines and how it was being dealt with that made me panic a bit. And I'm now speaking to my agent. Hey, we've still heard nothing. We don't know what's going on, but they know that there's a set shoot day. We are starting,
and it's getting closer.
It's getting closer and closer.
And you haven't received.
But no one has spoken to me. So I'm like, no, but what's going on? You know. So I literally quit on the first day of shoot. Only because I'm like, but you aren't meeting me halfway. No one's given me the respect of speaking to me. Be it from channel or from production, because channel only comes in after.
Of course.
It's actually not channel's business what's going on.
It's always production.
It's production, you know. But no one has reached out and spoken to me and said, this is where we are, this is how we want to shift things. But basically, to cut a long story short, I was being asked to do season 2 for essentially half the revenue of season 1.
Oh my God.
By virtue of the fact that my character has now become half snake, half human. So there's less actual screen
Time.
me coming to shoot, call time, and
Oh,
call.
there's
Do you understand?
There's less
calls.
Did they change the fee per call?
They changed the fee per call. They wanted to put raise it by like 500 rand or something like that.
Yes,
per call.
yes.
But then my calls are
But
far
there were
less.
fewer, of
Yes,
course.
Yes. So just that as a basic principle, I was like, but that that makes no sense.
Let me defend them and allow me. It's my favorite thing to do.
Absolutely.
To defend
The
production.
devil's advocate. I love it.
But you didn't necessarily know the storyline. Even if you did, because what they write in the storyline is their business. They say, we want to feature you like this, we want you to do this, and then uzo fala.
Yes.
And spans peli.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's somebody else that
No,
carries on.
absolutely. If it was a case of my character dying,
You get that.
I get that. That's par for the course.
But
that's what you're supposed
even
to
in this case, they were saying, well, we don't need many of you.
Yes.
We don't need you a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the problem with that?
Absolutely. Now, here's the problem. Okay, it's a value add proposition. Okay, we build something together, and this is the conversation we always have.
Okay,
with production. Shauna sat me down and was like, "There's something great we are doing over here, and I think you and Anga will be brilliant for this. I already have you guys in mind. Let's have this conversation. Speak about it." And he made me go and watch. I think there was something called Tyrant that was on one of these international series, great series about Saddam Hussein's 2 sons.
Okay.
And the fallout
Seen it. Yes,
and
yes.
how the monsters they essentially became. And he said, go do some research for me, check out that thing. And one of the characters is based on the brothers, just like that. It's that kind of dynamic. Sat down, but the conversation was, we don't have money in this first season.
Yes.
We don't have the fees that I know you deserve.
Great.
And you are going to ask for. So I'm asking you to compromise right now. Right? And it's in terms of that trust and conversation had between the two of us that we went into season 1 saying, this is what we are going to do. We are building something greater over here. And whatever rewards may come will come later.
The key word, right now. So that means
Right now.
We'll see you later.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm not scared to talk figures.
Yeah.
For me, it's part of the problem with the industry and why it won't grow, because so many things remain a secret.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, if you're willing. Go on.
Because
Go
at
right
the
ahead.
time, they said, here's 3.5 per call. I initially said, no ways.
It's too little.
We cut.
Yeah.
You know? They managed to raise it to, I think, 3.8 or something like that. And I was like, you know what?
Per call, it could be a full day's work.
A full day's work.
Yeah,
Full day's work.
yeah.
You are called in that day, whether you shoot 1 scene or 10. If you are shooting everything in King David's studio that day, and there's 12 scenes there that day, you know, whether those scenes are spread between episode 1 and episode 13 or not, all of those being shot that day, that's your call for that day. That's your 3.8.
Do you know that shocks all of us?
Right?
Because
A lot of
Uvatiswa said that.
Yeah.
And it shocked me.
Yeah.
But I see it from the business side. But
Oh, it makes sense.
I struggle to see it from the workers side.
Yeah. It's essentially made to the benefit of production to maximize
Their profit.
productivity. Absolutely.
The profits
Absolutely.
are
And that's
crazy.
their prerogative.
Yes.
That's their prerogative.
They're a business.
And I had no business taking that deal. Do you know what I mean?
And you did.
And I did.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As at a basis of trust and a basis of, this is someone I know, this is someone I like, this is someone and I love the story. I love the story and I love the opportunity to do, number one, something very different to what I'd done before.
True.
Or been known for that long, you know? Took it on, let's do it. 3.8, whatever it is, let's do it.
It's
You know, for me,
imali.
it's about the work right now.
Yes.
You know? Let's do the work. And for that to be portrayed in terms of my value add
When season
it comes
2 came
to
out.
season 2
Yeah.
now, you are now telling me everything we said in that conversation before about doing me right in later seasons. You are now saying to me, take it or leave it. This is what we have. This is all we are going to do.
Was it still the same
this is
fee, or you
yours.
said they upped it slightly?
They upped it by 500.
Upped it by 500. You're expecting a lot more.
A lot more. Like, I'm expecting literally double,
Yes.
because that's how little I took for season 1. Like, I'm taking the sacrifice. It's like saying to your star player in
Yes.
football or basketball or whatever, I want you on a 7-year contract. I want you for a very long time. You are my star player. I'm going to give you a signing bonus of 200,000. Here it is right now.
Yeah.
That is slightly below your
What you
market
deserve,
value.
yeah.
But what we are going to do is back end your contract. So if you're earning 30,000 per month this year, by next year, 60, The year after, you'll get to
Will you
90.
keep going
By the
up?
time you are done with this 7-year contract, you will have got your value back.
The entire value.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tacitly, that's the kind of agreement I thought I'm getting myself into. Come season 2,
Next.
now you are saying to me, there's still no money.
And there's fewer calls.
And there's fewer calls. But we also know that there's, okay, now Chevrolet has come on board as title sponsor. Now Ban Ban has come on board.
Because you
know what I
see
mean?
that
You
as
see
well.
those things.
It's
You
like
see
it's
those
like
things.
when you work for a company and the CEO bought a Porsche.
Yeah.
And then they just told some people that they are getting retrenched.
Right. But dividends paid out to the board.
It's like how? How?
So me, no funny 1.8, man. You know what I mean? From the 1.5 you were giving me. But it's the nature of the beast.
What did you do then? How did you react to all of that?
No, I had literally a meeting on set with the line producer.
And this
And
production is
production.
begun.
We are literally having breakfast. Ladies are being called out to make up afterwards, and and I'm saying, guys, but I have no idea right now whether I'm coming or going yet. Let's.
Yeah, we haven't
let's wait
finalized
there.
my
We haven't
story.
finalized. I haven't signed. Anyway. Like, what's
Wait.
going on? What are we doing? So for me, it was it's twofold. It's a respect thing. It's about understanding your worth and standing up for it. And sometimes you will take a big sacrifice. You know.
Justice. So the conversation takes place and it ends up with a...
Yeah, the conversation takes place. We don't agree with the line producer, who then says, no, I will refer you to
the boss.
the heads. But you can go home in the meantime. If there's anything fixed between you guys, then we'll sort you out tomorrow or the day after. Then we'll. So on the way home, he calls. Couldn't hear each other properly. I said, no, let me get home. Then I'll call you back. And I thought, okay, no, this is the intervention I was looking for.
Yeah.
Finally. Let me speak to my guy.
Oh, because you didn't really get a chance to have a proper chat before season 2.
No.
Yes.
Like, I've basically been sent the line producer who is, just by virtue of their job, they have to be a bull terrier.
No, of course.
They have to say,
Yeah.
there's no money. They have to say, no, we'll find someone else. You know, I don't take that personally. That's fine. Let me take this home.
Yeah.
Get the call. We get to speaking. And it was simply that, and there was no shouting. There was no, I'm Fana. So how do you feel about this? No, I don't feel that that's my worth right now. Everything else we had spoken about. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do right now anymore. Okay, I get. Seems there's nothing I can do anymore. So
Wow.
as a share up.
And that was how...
Yeah. With the promise to work again in future, no problem, no hard feelings.
No,
but-
yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
we're
but,
good.
you know,
I know your value.
you know, yeah.
And you know it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
hard.
In fact, one of the takeaways from that was, in fact, in future, just speak to me directly. You know, in future, if you feel like your agent's not representing you properly, or you feel the people that speak on your behalf
They're not
are
doing...
not to be able to get through to me
Yeah.
in the ways they should, then
Did you feel there
Bring it
was
to
a
me.
problem that the agent...
I think, and it's part of why, like, I have a hard time saying goodbye, and I should have said goodbye then to my agent. But I've kept them on literally until the beginning of this year, where I realized, no, man, loyalty will not serve me.
That was a red flag.
That was a red flag then, you know. And I got the very nice explanation and empathizing and just trying to see things from someone else's perspective. Or, okay, Nashap, this is why you say you did what you did. Okay, that's fine. But
It's
to
not...
tell the truth, great lady, great human being. But from a business perspective, always willing to take the first offer, and let's not ruffle too many feathers.
Because we got a job.
Yes, we got a job, and just be happy for that. You know, there's lots of people not working. What's wrong with you?
Is that a good attitude though? It takes me to a point you made earlier when you said there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
There's 4
Yeah.
of me.
Yeah, yeah.
4 people will take the same role that I'm doing. Is that not a good thing though?
It's a good attitude to have in terms of understanding the gratitude you must have just for work. But that's the same I could say for any human being.
True.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
there's so much to be happy for. You are here, you're alive, you are breathing. You know what I mean? You have meetings to go to, you have functions, you have a roof over your head.
You have a life to live.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But now how do I correlate that with progression and moving forward
Ish.
in my career, in my space?
Yeah.
And being able to look back 5 years down the line to say, this is where I started, this is where I am right now. You know, my personal development within my career
Plays is important.
huge role.
It's important
that's
as well.
very important. That's very important.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you make sacrifices. You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure you have. Well,
You
even
have to.
season 1 was a sacrifice
Absolutely.
to some extent.
Absolutely. But that's why, and like when you look at season 1 of the 2 that were shot, and it's just not even my presence over there, but you can almost see the difference in dynamic. This one was done out of love. It came from a place of a collective idea, a great ensemble who all gets along with management. You know what I mean? Like we used to eat lunch together every day.
This is good.
Like it was a great place to work. By the end of season 1, you are beginning to see a little bit of the dynamics, and then come season 2, you realize, no, chief, we are here to make money.
Could they have preserved? I'm trying to think. Could they have preserved that harmony? How easy is it to preserve the harmony? Because the competition will creep in.
Yeah.
The he earns more than me thing will creep in. The I'm friendlier with management than you will creep in. All sorts of things happen in an environment like that.
Right.
How do you then preserve the harmony? Was it even important to preserve the harmony? Don't you want to create a culture of competitiveness where you get the best out of people? There's all sorts of things you can throw at this.
Yeah.
And what was important for you? The harmony to be maintained.
For me, what was most important is to retain the respect between actors and production. And slowly over time, I think that's where a lot of production companies lose it. People always start off with the best intentions.
Yeah.
And you see that. You see that in their work. You see that in how they relate to their employees. But it's once this becomes bigger than them, and the concept overrides personal relationships.
And that happens.
In any sphere.
Eish.
In any sphere. You know what I mean?
What is bigger than them in this context? Like, even if you don't use this example, but what is bigger? At what stage do we say now, this is bigger than us? Is it too popular? What happens?
Yeah. Look, that depends on perspective. From the perspective of an EP, it becomes my relationship with the broadcaster.
Okay.
It becomes my relationship with the people that pay my money and what I need to do over there. So the little semantics of politics on set and whatnot, I'm not involved with those things.
Yes.
I'm rushing to a meeting right now to secure my next 2 projects
that are unrelated to this.
Unrelated to this.
This is done.
Absolutely. The moment I'm shooting this, it's done.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you can chalk it off on the accounting books. SARS will come back to us. We have to pay our taxes.
Absolutely.
We have to do all of those things regardless. So this is done. You know what I mean? I'm just here to help facilitate the process, but my mind is elsewhere already. That's what becomes bigger because for us, it's lopsided in this country. I'll tell you why. You know of names and the stars that act in shows, as we were talking about earlier, in the US and the UK and that kind of places. In South Africa, you know who does the production.
Yeah.
You know it's a Mzansi Magic production.
True.
Before you know who the star is.
Yeah.
There's a Mzansi Magic production coming out. That's what it is. The broadcaster is king. By far.
Yes. More often than not, that's what happens.
And it trickles down this way.
So the star is the smallest
at the
piece.
Background actors get worse. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? If the stars of the show, you know what I mean?
Much worse.
And that's why it's lopsided. Our best actresses, our biggest stars in our country have to be in telenovelas and soapies.
Yeah.
That's the monthly paycheck. That's the debit orders coming off. That's where you get
that's life. That's everyday life.
Absolutely. And in that way, you can then make maybe a 1.8 or 2 million per year.
Sure.
Just by virtue of that. But now you're in a sausage factory. You know what I mean? No, you're in the conveyor belt. Day in, day out.
We're just churning out every day, to work.
Yeah. You are doing a 9 to 5. Whereas overseas, an actor can act in 1 or 2 projects per year.
And done.
And live off dividends.
I want to be careful that you don't portray it like you want the easy life. It's the value of the work.
Value of the work that's been put out there.
Because you could do... If the value of the work, if you're seen as a valuable actor who earns what they deserve,
right,
you could get that 1.5
absolutely
in 2 months, and then you're done
from that work,
and then you decide to do more if you want to.
That's up to you, you know. And that's also only because by virtue of the caliber of actor that you've decided to bring on over here, you're going to get your returns as a production company.
Yes.
I know, like, one of the examples of why, for instance, we went on strike with the Generations thing, and some people asked, man, you know, when these fees were revealed, some people are earning 30,000, 40,000
a month.
Yeah, per month.
Yes, yeah.
You know? But and I agree. Oh, I agree. Like, when you compare to workers' wages and everything else that's done in the economy of South Africa, people who are up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. Absolutely, and you are right. I will grant you that. What you can't take away from me is the value chain that I work in, that I'm a part of. And part of the problem what we are now hearing, because it's a publicly listed company, SABC, whatever money that comes in, our lawyers were able to find the figures. And we came to the realization that there's 880 million being made from ad spend from generations. And one of their own clauses in the contract said something like 2% of whatever the production generates should be split equally among all principal actors.
Okay.
Just 2% of whatever that amount is.
Yes.
Now, that contract is an old Safrital contract from like 84 or 83,
Wow.
when 2% was really nothing.
Yes.
And
then
they
2%
could have that in there.
Yeah. 2% became something.
2% became something.
Wow.
Once Mfundi them came up with a brilliant concept and people loved it at 8 o'clock every day, and it grew exponentially. From that point
Advertisers
on.
put money behind it.
Yep. 20 years down the line, 2% is 2% of 880 million, nearly a billion.
Yeah.
And now there's going to be a bit of a problem now when you're asking for your fair share of that much.
So you're saying the 2% was not even given?
No, it wasn't even given. It wasn't even recognized.
Even when
we didn't even know about it.
Even when it was little.
Yes, even when it was little, for all of those years.
Oh boy.
It had never been given to anyone for no reason because it was minuscule.
It's 2%, man.
It's 2%. What are you talking about? Come on.
What you must strike? What's strike a
on.
lot? 2%.
So when I speak about the value chain, I'm speaking about my part in 880 million. That's the part of the economy I am in.
Yeah.
What's my part of that?
Yes.
What's my worth in terms of that I am bringing in? And there were times then when, it would be generations that's keeping SABC afloat. Because the other shows aren't quite making this in terms of ad spend and. So we're keeping an entire institution, an entire system, at least being able to pay some things over here. We're just saying we don't want the whole thing. It's fine. That's yours. You made this. This is yours. We agree.
Yes.
We agree. But for my role in it, to come in and sweep here every day and help keep this place spick and span.
Can I get that? Was there also a debate around royalties and this thing is bought in Nigeria, is bought in other countries?
Absolutely. I was no bala of that movement. I was the minutes man.
You're the
I remember
scribe.
when we came up, I was the scribe. I remember when we came up with our new, payment structures of how we want to be paid, and classing up the different levels of actors in terms of experience, from those that have come in the past 2 years, those that have been there
so
for
you
longer
were
than 8 years.
part of that.
Absolutely. That conversation was being had back and forth every day to say this is how we want it. And all we were asking for was, because we'd caught wind of several conversations with other actors. 'Cause actors we speak. Like one thing we do very regularly among ourselves. The moment we meet at functions, it's only a matter of time before we start talking about the industry.
The real
again,
story.
It's like, hey, wait, industry, but look. So we'd come to find that a few of our colleagues, white colleagues at some of these other productions on ETV and whatnot, were in that above 100,000 bracket. This is in 2014, 2013,
yes.
But of very few out there that make above 100,000.
Is it define it properly so we get it? 100,000
per month.
Per month.
Per month.
So that means it's not only the number of calls, but it's the rate per call.
No, so in soapy it works different.
Okay.
Like once you become a permanent actor, and you are one of the leads.
Toli Salar.
Toli Salar.
Okay.
Toli
All right.
Salar.
So
that's how you negotiate.
Okay.
It's a monthly global fee.
Irrespective of how many times you're going to call me.
Irrespective.
Yes.
Because you have A storyline, B storyline, C storyline.
So, sure.
But some
nothing
months
changes.
nothing changes.
Got
Nothing
you.
changes. Hence the security. Hence you can stay there. I mean, I meant to come there. I thought I'd be at Generations for a year or two. Do a nice new character. Next thing I look up, I'm like, Aibo, 8 years.
Whoa.
8 years because you get comfortable.
Yes.
You
Because
get comfortable.
you know what to expect.
This is what it is.
Yes.
This is what it is.
And it also brings all sorts of perks as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's part of what they say to you. Is that, I know we can't be giving you more money. You guys make enough money out there.
Yeah.
All these appearances and gigs and MCing.
It's because of this.
That's because of us. Like, yes, you are right, but that's because of me. That's because of my willingness to get into a car and drive all the way to Palabora tonight, and then tomorrow I'm in Bloemfontein, and then tomorrow I'm in Durban. Yes, I've made myself an extra 90K right now because of everything I've done.
Yeah.
But I had to do that work.
Let's go back to the you caught wind of how some people are earning 100K. That's what led to fueled some of the
right.
Yeah.
And also, look, what really fueled all of that was As you know, in radio, it's this March area, right? Where people's contracts are being renegotiated.
it's
We're all
horrible.
essentially horrible time of the year for
Horrible.
everyone.
It's horrible.
For everyone. But we're
well,
all essentially
everyone
the same boat.
SABC.
Right.
Everyone
right.
SABC. Mainly.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true.
Horrible time.
So for us, it was October.
Okay.
Every year, you know, you might be permanent in name, but every year you come and get assessed. And
Really?
this is
Even if you are that 8 years, you had to go through that every year.
Menzingubani, Sophie Ndaba.
You sit down and they say,
Yeah.
and
So
what
this is how you've done?
What is the likelihood? You could be told, nah, Hardy,
50-50.
we will phase you out. We will
50-50. You can come to here now in that meeting that, okay, as of next year onwards, we are bringing in a new family. We've had a conversation with Channel and we need to change things up a little bit. So your family won't be around as much. We'll still keep you around, but you won't be permanent anymore. You'll come in for those occasional. But it happens. It happens. And what led us to that point was now, after we've had these meetings, I think it was over 2 days, we got brought in one by one. And on the second day I think it was me, Anga, and Menzi walking out. I've just had my meeting. Anga's come out of his and he's swearing. He's unhappy. You're like, and then what happened? Like, I thought it was bad for me because I was told 2% raise. That's all I'm getting, 2%. Bad year, all things round. There's no money. So 2%. I've heard of other people that got 0. So it was this collective kind of, and it's the first time actors were now speaking openly among themselves about the fact that Mfana, utole something when now utolanga. No, what do you mean? You know? So the shock and horror for Tina was Menzi's ailment. Because that was the year he had the kidney issues and he's having dialysis at work and he missed a month or so. Number one, they went and begged him from his hospital bed to come back to work. Because now we are running behind. We understand and we will facilitate and make sure we take care of you, but we kind of need you back there.
Yo.
Whoa.
Okay. Why is that a thing for you guys? Why did that stand out?
Number one, he's one of our most senior actors, most respected.
Yes.
And if that can happen to him, who am I? You know?
Yeah.
But number two, who does that?
We need you.
But this is not
no.
Or
No,
flu,
give me 2 days.
You know, this cough is not going away. It's been 10 days.
Yeah.
I just need to take care of this cough, but I'll be back. No, this is internal
I'm
organs.
in trouble here.
Yeah.
And you say I should come to work.
And you are coming to implore me to come back to work.
You didn't see that as he's so valuable, they will go out of their way to make sure that
Definitely
he
not.
comes to work.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
You saw it as this is abuse.
This is about their overheads. Look, I won't go as far as calling it abuse because no one believes they're abusing you.
True,
when they're abusing. They feel they're doing it for a reason.
And also you can say no.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If push comes to shove,
you can say I'm afraid. I can't.
Like no one held a gun to your head. No one, you know what I mean? But because the man has a sense of loyalty, the man has a sense of duty. You know, you guys have done a lot for me to get to this point. What you're asking me for is difficult, but
I'll help out.
Okay, let's do it. You know, so he comes back to work,
and you guys are reacting to this,
right? But we are talking among ourselves. It's like it's not a big deal yet. This is maybe a month or two before contract renegotiations, but we make it work. So we work.
Yeah.
Come contract renegotiation time, this man gets 0 raise.
Ha. Maybe that's where the problem is. Did
you understand? It was a series of things. It wasn't just us deciding, it was a series of things, you know, down to working hours, all of those kinds of things. And I keep bringing up the example of Menzi because he was the most dedicated, most passionate about his craft and about his character, about his role. Like he defined what it is to be a steering. You know,
Menzi was steering.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't in that particular production, in other shows, Menzi was steering.
Absolutely. And he took his work so seriously. Every single day. I kid you not. Wow. Every single day, Menzi, after we finish shooting, we wrap up a day around 5-6 o'clock. Menzi is staying for an extra hour, underlining his lines for tomorrow. Intentions.
He's that kind of guy.
He's that guy. without fame,
Ronaldo,
without
not
fame.
Ronaldo. He'll stick
I will
around.
stay and kick 1,000 balls.
Yes,
Nje,
and
you know
then
what I mean?
tomorrow you blame me for being great.
Absolutely. You wonder how I did it. No,
Yes.
it's here. There's no secret.
Wow, man.
And that's what made him great. Like he immersed himself completely in
In
his
this
character. And they
game.
know this.
And you don't give a guy like that 0%.
How? When you've asked him to sacrifice and risk his life and come back over here.
So this anger, and I'll call it that for lack of a better phrase, was brewing.
Yeah.
When you were observing this,
Yeah.
not only to you guys, but
Absolutely.
to everybody else.
Absolutely.
And you're saying Menzi, to some extent, or to a lot of extent, was what broke the camel's back.
Yes. Like that's what made everyone, the straw that broke the camel's back. That galvanized everyone to say, aye, man, aye. Noma sekuthiwani manje.
This
Okay,
is-
guys, come. Let's all meet. Wait. Let's hear from everyone. You. As a collective, no one got more than a 2% raise.
Was there the instigator, uMandela wakhona?
Yes.
Who was that?
Well, no, not
really.
really.
Yeah.
Not really. Because it wasn't even a case of, no, we want to quit or we want to... It was, okay, wait, guys. We feel like we are being abused over here and things are not being done right for us. Who can we speak to?
Okay.
Who can we speak to? If we can find someone to speak to within the hierarchy.
Yes. Whether it was
be it
production
at-
or channel.
Yeah. And we tried at production first.
Naturally.
And we sent the big dogs, we sent Menzi, we sent Sophie, we sent, you guys have been here a long time. You guys have a relationship with the man, long standing. He recognizes you in the corridors when he sees you, So please speak to him. And he said, everything I've done for you guys. And this is what you ask me. If you have a problem, there's the door. Feel free. Good man, kanjani siyakhuluma. Basosixosha phela buya besidlala phela.
It's ungakwati.
Ungakwati,
Ukwata
ungakwati.
easy, yo.
Yebo. Hawu, hlalisa ngemali kanti wena.
Oh boy.
So
And it really got like that.
Yeah. We started there. We honestly tried follow channels.
Yeah.
Be patient, take time. Hence the ultimatum came.
But
To say come back to work by a certain time or else.
did you guys get to, because clearly this was gaining momentum without us as the viewers were seeing any of this. It was happening all on its own.
While shooting that time, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing. Did you get to a point where now you approached channel? Did that ever happen?
We did.
Where you said,
Oh, we did.
you thought you failed here.
We aren't making progress over here.
Yeah.
Let's escalate.
Eish, no.
And there's no union here. There's no representative.
Spoken like a true corporate person. I'm escalating.
We're escalating now because there's no shop steward for us.
You tried to get Menzi and Uso.
Yeah,
to be our shop stewards.
absolutely. They were told, chief,
Yeah.
go back to where you came from or else. Bo.
Was there at any point when bendlala but bangaboni ukuthi niyadlala? Did you get any point where you felt this thing, let's not rock this thing too much?
Look, I think once we had decided to take the stance together, there was already that thing instilled. Because like I say, it didn't happen overnight. We've kind of been building up.
Yeah.
Seeing little things happen.
Sure.
Seeing little questions be asked and not be answered, and eventually you get to a point where you realize if you don't do anything about it for yourself, no one else will.
That's true.
So we can either carry on being unhappy and enriching somebody else and just accepting the fame for what it's worth.
Yeah. And the small Bloemfontein Kroonstad gigs.
For sure.
And moving on.
And you can make it work.
Yeah. You have so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us, I think it slowly became, this is our chance to try and make a difference.
Okay.
And like a lot of people ask, do you think it worked? Do you think it was successful? If you were to do it again, would you? For me, absolutely. Every single time, over and over again.
Wow.
Because someone had to take that first.
Yeah.
You understand?
I know.
That first step, that first rock being, thrown into the crowd, or first bullet being shot by the police.
It'll find the guy in front.
You know what I mean?
That's what happened.
Someone had to take that.
Yeah.
And not much has changed at this point, but there always remains that thing hanging in the air that actors more and more are speaking out about what they think they deserve.
Yeah.
What they know themselves to deserve. And I might not get it right in my lifetime right now, but if my kids decide they want to get into the acting world, I'm hoping that by then there's at least a difference in terms of how we look at actors to say, let me ask you first, are you okay? Are you okay with this?
And you started this.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's traceable to a moment.
Absolutely.
And on the country's biggest show.
Yeah.
You know, imagine that. It happens at how. It's happening in the Matsipes.
Right? Right?
We thought everything was fine.
And I do think it has changed because what they do very well, and it works just as a business principle. It's not even, their own evil hearts. I don't think people are evil. I think people are as selfish as their circumstances.
Yeah.
And if their circumstances say we need to, undercut the bottom line by this much in this financial year, that's what they need to do, and they will do it.
Yeah.
By hook or crook, But you reach a point where you define success by the difference it makes in individuals' lives. And we might not hear about the collective wins of other actors or an entire cast getting paid so well or whatever. We never hear about those things. Yeah. But what they do well now, and I know this to happen, they still divide and conquer.
Okay.
And maybe not necessarily conquer, but they definitely divide.
There's a divide, yes.
To say certain actors will get paid a certain amount.
And they will...
Because they've asked for it.
And you won't know.
And you won't know. The rest of us will not know.
Yeah.
But the fact that at least that conversation is happening, where someone is being recognized for their worth. Maybe if it's 3 or 4 actors in this country that are worth that right now, by next year maybe it's 6.
Yeah.
By the following year maybe it's 12.
Eish.
And if it grows incrementally like that, it's better than nothing.
Is the industry rich? And I use the word loosely. Is it worth a lot of money? The sector itself. Basically, I'm asking if it can pay
sustain that,
and pay these amounts. Because the worst thing about is having smart kids and you're a struggling dad.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
where were you when people were earning money?
Do you know what? Because also you want to take your kids to the best opportunities, and you just don't have it. Right. And that's why I ask: is the industry able to sustain this talent that it has?
Look, I don't have the full answers for that because yes, I have a production company now, and I'm settling into that world.
Yeah.
I know a lot of it is like I said, from the broadcaster down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's down to broadcasters to say what the budgets are going to be.
That's true.
When you hear some of the stories now about, film production where, a couple of years back you could get 8 to 15 million to shoot a movie. And now they're capping you at 6, if not 4.
Yeah.
Like some of those things have gone backwards. You can't blame production companies for that.
The economy is what it is sometimes.
Yeah. As much as we look at producers and say, no, these guys aren't paying us, sometimes they're not being paid.
No.
But there's a conversation that needs to be had around that because we do know what the DSTVs and the multi-choices and the SABCs in terms of what they generate, those numbers are out there. We hear about the exponential growth into Africa of DSTV. And yes, that is on the back of their sports but this part of the industry has a part to play in that. And that's not filtering down to everybody.
And also, I've been lucky to have traveled to Brazil during a time when they had the arts festival in Sao Paulo. And while I was there, something stood out quite significantly, that there's support, physical support for the arts. The banks in that time had opened almost like the first floor of their buildings for exhibitions and things like that.
Really?
And I remember thinking, this is clearly an effort by the private sector to say, we see this, we recognize it, and we want to back it.
Yeah.
And whether it was through government and all of that, I wouldn't know. But you could see the effort. And in moments like this, you say, yes, we know how much DSTVs could be making. We see how much SABC could be making. But there's other people who could help this cause, for it to achieve
private
anything.
sector and
government,
and government.
Yes,
but it takes will. It takes know-how.
Yeah,
it takes someone that understands the industry and how you can, lessen the load on yourself. Then, if you feel like the load on government is too much, how about your private and public, partnerships to say,
let's do this.
These are the things that can be done because the rest of the world operates like that. At least where the arts is thriving.
But also, there's a different perspective to the story. A demand for the product.
Yeah.
Is also an important part of that value chain that you're explaining.
Oh, absolutely.
To say if no one watches.
Absolutely. But you see with the advent of COVID, just how much demand there is out there because look at how much content is out there and being consumed, But look, it's also just like a inherently South African thing, Apartheid did many things. And what it did to the arts industry is bake people like clay pots in fire, because what came out of there was just brilliant beyond measure because of the circumstances it was produced in.
Yeah.
And I think we are victims of that success and that hard work and pioneering spirit to make things work from nothing. Because when those first TV productions and first and I say first in our new dispensation after 94.
Yeah.
People made things work on shoestring budgets.
And it worked.
And it was brilliant.
And people fell
Not
in
just
love
work,
with
it was
that.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But unfortunately now, as a result of that, you got whoever the funders are used to the fact that, but we don't have to give you 500,000 for this.
Because we know you can do it.
You did it off 80,000 last year. Why are you asking for 100 to 500,000 right now? You know,
I'm in a similar situation with the production that I did. I started low, man. I started low, man. I understood their problems too, and I shouldn't have, but I did.
You made it work.
And now it's like, no.
So come on, you made this work. That's what it is.
Wow. Yeah. But it comes across through conversations with people in your position who have been in the business for a bit, who are saying, no, it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
You have to be
thick skin.
Yeah.
Thick skin. Can't be afraid of hard work.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid of rejection.
Because it happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Just by virtue of you auditioning. Jeez. And being asked to come read something, you know? You get given the impression sometimes when you become a senior actor that, no, we are looking at just you for this. But you know they've spoken to 2 or 3 other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no debriefing afterwards. There's no one that comes to you afterwards and says, listen, man, we had you in mind for this one, but it wasn't quite right. You know? So
we are pale.
No, you are about two. You know?
Tender. Nobody ever calls you to say,
no. Chief briefing. If after briefing no one called you afterwards,
I must tell you, your conversation with you and Vatis in particular, you two, you make the industry seem very undesirable. You know?
Look, it's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful thing. It's a privilege.
Yes.
And I think that's part of our problem. Even in terms of government taking it seriously and legislation and all of those things, because there's still this feeling of, but this is entertainment. You know? Yeah. And you are being allowed to do something you love. And you are being paid for it.
Wow.
Why do you want medical aid?
Why do you want life cover?
You want benefits.
Go sort that out yourself.
Come on. If you were, 15,000 appearance fee for today's sketch that you did for us here at corporate. So it's a lot of money.
So you're saying there's a perspective that says you guys are not serious. You're not a serious part of what we're trying to solve.
It's not seen as like we aren't recognized in labor laws.
For example.
I
know that.
You know what I mean?
I'm in that space in some way.
You know this. It's genuinely taken as either a vocation or you are privileged to be where you are at, being allowed to do what you are doing, and you get to make some money from it. So make that work.
You know the way you say it sounds like it needs political will. Change must happen in a different space altogether.
More than will, because I really don't think... Look, I come from an ANC background. My father was a politician. My father was very well versed in just the nature of South Africa. And I didn't take an interest when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I suddenly realized how important those things are when you are older. You know, I don't think politicians sit there saying,
"As food,
we don't care about those people."
Yeah,
as food. It's a lack of understanding. And if you don't understand something, you can't empathize.
That's true.
If you haven't walked in my shoes to see what this actually comes down to, you will never recognize. We lament the death of so many artists that have passed, and we speak about how little they had when they passed away. And always passes condolences.
Yeah.
Condolence. Hey guys, this is wrong. It should not be this way. But I almost feel like there's almost an unspoken feeling of I marnayo zenzile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why?
Because like Lomo Bese TV pela. He was on so many productions and by I told him abantu. Yeah, I told him mal. Mouse pan.
And good times mouse pan.
Absolutely. So you could easily make, and let me give you the example of a TV series. And when I say TV series, 13-part episodes,
Okay.
finite period.
Yep.
It is going to start at the beginning of March. It's going to end, mid-May.
That's it. Production will probably be shorter than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Production will be maybe half of that.
Yeah, a month and a half, 2 months.
time.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shot 2 months before. So by the time this thing shows or the thing, this money is finished a long time ago.
Yeah.
And on a series like that, you're being paid per call.
Yes. Is that
And
3
you
to
can,
5?
I'd say on average, for I'm not talking about the guys at the very top. I don't know what those guys are. But for your average actor who's been around maybe 5 or 6 years, has been in decent productions, you're making 80 to 100K.
Okay.
Of
For
that.
the production.
For the production.
For that particular one.
For that particular
Yes.
production.
You're not earning $1 million.
No. But if you consider things in context, for 4 weeks of work to be given 100,000 rand is a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Relatively
money.
speaking.
What you are not putting into this entire frame is that was 3 months covered over here.
Yeah.
Now, I've got the whole year to go through. If I don't get another TV series, or a telenovela,
Immediately after that, that's this one.
Immediately after. If nothing else is paying me in this year, that 100,000 is all I've made in one calendar year.
Imagine that.
Right? Now break that down into 12 months.
No, it's, yeah. Yo.
That's the nature of the beast.
And clearly there's a huge misconception of
Massive.
of the life that
massive.
comes with the glitz and the glamour of TV
massive.
cameras.
No, yabana thina ama-actor. Like ukupatanisa and make things look good from a distance, we are great at it. We are great at it. Even down to the scripts and the productions, that we get. It's almost part of the job description.
So you act even outside the
Essentially.
show. Yeah, because you're now acting the life.
Essentially, because you are still seen as this out there. Yeah. As much as I could, yes, go to Brie every day and take a taxi to.
It's not easy though.
It's not easy.
Because people say,
it's not easy. You know what I mean? People ask me now, when was the last time you were on a taxi? Literally, when I started the Generations, was the last time I went on a taxi.
Because you couldn't do it.
Because you can't. You could do it for a day or 2 or 3, but every single day of questions about manje wena babakho usibusisa kuphi. You're not going to take that every day. Never mind the snide remarks of like, "Ayibo, usenza ufuna ndla."
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Not even that.
Uthi no ngiya-acta.
Ngiyaspana. Yeah,
Uthi
sure.
ngiya-acta.
So actor la.
Practice role of someone in a taxi.
But it's not easy. It's not easy. You know what I mean? It's but it's the dish you are dealt.
Nature, yes.
It's the dish you are dealt.
I want to go back to the moment when now you're saying, senor. Senor manje.
Yeah. That was a collective decision.
Yeah. Were there other people who were not citing with you guys?
Out of the principal actors?
Yeah.
No.
Wow, every single one.
Every single one.
Who were the main guys at the time?
Every single one.
Who were the main names at the time? Obviously Sophie.
Sophie.
Was Connie still there?
Menzi. No, Connie
left.
Connie had left, I think, maybe 2-3 years prior.
Okay.
And also just a contract negotiation that didn't go well and sharp.
I'm out.
I know hard feelings. Grant.
Wow.
The difference with us was that it was a collective decision.
That's a big name there. That said, no, we can't. Yeah.
No, but also, and their journey is something to marvel at when you look at Connie and Shona, because Shona started off as the guy that we just knew as, Connie's boyfriend at the time. Or they married yet, but so much happening that he's trying to facilitate through her and working. I remember there was like some products, there was a perfume, but there was so much they were doing.
Yeah.
And as actors, we recognize the ones that are more equal than others, Animal Farm.
Of course.
Just by virtue of what they are able to say no to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain things that they will not do because if this is how you see me, I have other options.
Out, yeah.
I have other things I can do.
Jeez, yeah.
And at that time, it was maybe 2 years removed from that time. But yeah, we got to that point because we'd now started having meetings with Hlaudi.
He was there at the time. Yeah.
And the amazing thing is, like, Hlaudi was on our side at the beginning.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow, I like how you say at the beginning.
It was.
Clearly it changes.
It literally was. It's like a soapie, this thing. It reads.
But it was Menzi, Sophie, you guys. What other big name was there?
Winnie, Zolisa.
Whoa.
Zenande, Mantla Gatuga.
Of course.
Geez, who am I forgetting? There were 16 of us. But yeah, but everybody
Everybody
that was seen as a steering at the time.
You were part of this.
Part of it. Tato Mulamu. All of us. Zikona, Sotlaka, everybody. And this was a collective, guys. We are sticking by this. Let us be patient. And we were motivated also. We like after our initial meetings with Saudi, he was appalled. He didn't understand how this could be happening, to the best possible cast in the country. You are on the #1 show in the country. Maybe SAFTAs don't say that to you every year, but the numbers over here, this is what it's saying to you.
And the revenue says it as well.
And the revenue says it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he came out with the whole 3-year contracts have to be mandated. We were really motivated at the time because we were like, okay, no, this guy is putting his money where his mouth is.
We got the 3-year contract.
Right.
They were tricky though.
Right.
They were 3-year contracts.
They were. But at least it was a step in the right direction.
Yes,
we were seeing will. We are seeing some sort of political will from the top to say, okay, let's change circumstances for these guys.
Yeah.
Sharp. That happens. And it was meeting after meeting after meeting. Like,
of course.
Every week there was someone high level we were meeting with.
And this time you're shooting.
Yeah. No. I think at that point we had stopped.
Oh, that's when you said.
By that point we'd been
solve the problem.
Yeah, because part of the problem now is we need to gain leverage somehow.
Yeah.
If we are giving you tape to give back to SABC to say the show is continuing over here while
we negotiate.
Absolutely. We're taking away our only leg to stand on.
Yeah, but that was clearly a brave move at the time. Yeah. That's
a brave bunch, that lot. Brave bunch. Even on days when I was like, when you're motivated by others, you say,
so there was always there was a feeling of maybe not, but still
every once in a while.
Going.
Every once in a while. But as with anything great in life, as you venture into the lion's den, you walked in there bravely initially, but as you walk in and you hear the crowd, you realize, hi man, this is Ipo basically.
So that's what you were dealing with.
Literally. So we went to Lutuli House. Hey man, we tried.
You tried to.
We went to Kosatu House. We. So then Mafavi this side. It was Shaka Sisulu them over there. We went to NKANDLA.
You went to NKANDLA?
We went to NKANDLA from Denver. What do you mean?
You guys did everything.
Kulubusa's wedding. The most recent one. I don't know how many of them have been since. I don't know. But that one there, no, we went to NKANDLA. We went to go mobilize. We spoke. We spoke. God. We had meeting. We had presence with the president.
And
on Sunday morning. And we were promised.
That
will that show come off the air. Since I said, God,
wow,
we are going to deal with this.
And it did.
And it did. Because somewhere along the line, I think there was the greater argument, which when you look at everything, you realize that if they had bucked to our demands, and SABC already in trouble,
financially,
it was going to put them into a deeper hole.
Yeah.
It was going to put them in a position where, like we said, that 2% just have to
Yes.
Imagine
if you guys backdated.
But that's what was going to happen.
Yes. Backdated for the past 20 years.
Because we've employed a lawyer.
Yeah.
And lawyer is putting his threats here at the highest level to say, no, we are going to backdate. You are going to pay everyone. In fact, once this happens, then we are going to do, what's this? Mass tort litigation.
It's a class action.
Class action. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes. Class action now where everybody else as an actor who has acted at Generations and didn't receive theirs now has a right. So either fix these guys, otherwise I'm throwing the entire dogs at you. So it was strategy. It was back and forth. It was a lot being said. And it got to that point, and I realized, somewhere along the line, I realized, hey, we are being sent from pillar to post now. And those are the implications of what we are asking for.
Yeah.
Or maybe backing them into such a corner that they have no choice but to just throw the baby out with the water.
Exactly. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's...
You know what I mean? So, Scheme Sam will come take over for a bit, but so pega enye.
Which essentially what happened, really. Mm-hmm. That's how the story
essentially
worked
what
out.
Happened.
Yeah. It was Timan, Vala.
Yes, I know. And the president Yaguzwa, Kinsile, it's a shame.
But...
Kotwa.
It's such a parenting moment as well, to say, we hear you, but that's not much.
Right.
What do we
But
do?
no one did that. You know what I mean? Like if someone had come back to say, yeah.
So you're saying there was never any...
Like there was never closure. There was
Oh
never...
no!
There was never,
Oh no!
No,
I
there was
didn't
never-
know that the generation relationship by Pelanga, as
No,
in with a
no,
exit conversation.
No, there was no exit conversation. Like fired would never happen to my face.
So you
It happened
stopped.
only via...
You stopped working, but continued negotiating
Yes.
and continued negotiating.
Continued negotiating.
How long?
Maybe 2
for
or 3
how,
months.
3 months of
2 or
hard
3 months.
negotiations.
Yeah. And at many moments, many pivotal moments, it looked like, no, we are meeting each other.
It's coming.
We are meeting each other.
This is
halfway.
coming. Yeah.
Because now they're asking specifics about, okay, how do you see this panning out? And if you look at that, okay, if we say we don't have this, how do you feel about that? You know?
Yeah.
That was in that initial 2 months.
Because that sounds like a negotiation.
Absolutely.
And at what point, actually, before I ask that, did you ever get to speak to the man, the production owner?
Since then?
In these negotiations,
Yeah.
the 3 months?
No.
There was never a
Never.
booty.
Never.
We're still your children.
Not never. Not never. And also just not through any ill will on our side.
No, of course. You were prepared to speak.
Yeah, no,
if
that
the
was made very
moment-
clear from the beginning. With I don't bother coming back to me. I'm not talking to you guys.
Cho,
Who do you think you are?
cho, cho, cho.
You know, like some people were told I made you. Oh yeah, our 3 shop stewards.
Oh, they were told I made
That's
you.
what they were.
You were nothing when you
No, that's
got
what they were
here.
brought back with. They said, no, we made you. Man, we even put Katlego Danke. Who says no to Katlego?
So
like,
sweet
Katlego was the
lady.
most
Yeah.
respectful, most intelligent, most just like everything about Katlego is class and how she deals with people.
And she
You know?
came with nothing.
When those 3 came back, like I get man.
Yeah, no.
like
Wow.
what we were hoping for was just a negotiated settlement. But
It's gone.
state of emergency. You know?
So when they switch off the lights, I imagine on your side is SMSs that are saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
bad team."
absolutely. And to tell the truth, we were emboldened by that. To take something like that off the air, just the big financial risk. Number one, you are taking but
For
also
the corporation.
for the corporation, for them.
Yes.
And
Even
what they
even
are
the
doing.
owners of the production is
Yeah.
like, yo,
They had to take a massive risk, and I know they were under tremendous pressure, a lot of stress. But the first nail to hit our coffin was when it was confirmed that definitely coming back. This is the timeline, and these are the people they have coming back into these roles.
whoa.
And we're like, hey son,
Kushokutila abantu abasabona.
hey son, plan B. But no, like we did not realize that they could do that. You know, you might try and pivot, you might try and rename Senzo or
Yeah.
like to say you're coming with a whole new
Story.
That didn't scare us.
Really?
No,
Why not?
no, because you can try, but you will never have what you had with those.
That's true.
And the legacy it had built up.
You listen to
Excuse
your-
the name.
Yeah, no.
But
yeah,
you know what I mean. But the legacy it had built up. You know,
to that moment.
to that moment, you can't replace that. You can try,
Yeah.
but it'll never have that essence.
Wouldn't you also say part of your negotiation was the cockiness of that very statement that says, we're giving you a good product here?
Absolutely.
Was that part
No,
of...
absolutely.
Come on. What's
absolutely.
wrong with you?
Look, but like by virtue of that, you have to have that cockiness.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to stand up for yourself, there's a part of you that's saying, I'm making myself far more important than what you are saying right now.
That's it. Yeah.
Because I haven't had this opportunity before.
Eish.
I'm going to make you see me now for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
But the moment they came back with the level of senior actors, you know, the Vusikunen and the Rapulanas.
That's
and
when
the
you said, yo.
we were like, man, ish.
Labantu were-
If only we could have spoken to them also. You know what I mean? But,
Oh,
but
yes.
you know, it's one of those things that we didn't want to bring
It's
too many people
It's an
into it.
important point that you're raising. You know,
and a point of learning too.
when you're saying mass mobilization, you seem to have done a lot of lobbying, but not mobilization.
Right.
You didn't get the crowd.
Right.
But you got
Right.
you got the meetings.
We did try to tell
No,
the truth,
okay.
to get the
Yes,
crowd,
Yeah.
to really mobilize.
Because we were supporting you as consumers.
Absolutely.
But then what
Absolutely.
is
Even
our
people
power?
at SABC,
Yeah.
fellow actors, when you see them, they're like, "Aye, yo,
Keep going.
Kabegani, yo,
Yes, keep going.
Laba."
But then
Please.
mina kubega while I'm earning.
Absolutely.
It's easy for me.
Absolutely.
Ah.
And I'm very sure those were sat down and kind of given an offer they can't refuse. In fact, pick your number right now because they're at a place of desperation.
We need to solve this.
We need to solve this, and we're going to solve this by hook or crook. You know?
Sure.
Name your hours, name the amount of days you want to work,
Name the
how
money.
you want to work this, name the money. Let's see what we can do.
Yes.
Okay, 250. Look, we can't quite do that. Let's bring it
But-
down. But, you know.
And the show began.
And the show began. And the show began. And as loyal as people were, because the numbers went from about 3 to 4 million, because at the height, at our absolute height, I think it was 11.1
Yeah.
or nearly 12 at some point. The numbers came back at like 3. And then it like slowly built up. to
It's
like
a
4.
new show.
You know?
I remember that moment very well. Also as sales, because you could see that it's a rebuild.
Yeah.
And also there was you were also nervous, I imagine, as SABC to say maybe people don't have that palette anymore for this product.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People have moved on.
Yeah.
What have they found at other places?
No, there's a huge advantage and an unfair advantage to, like, even if you ask other people from other broadcasters and productions, that 8 o'clock slot, number one,
Yeah.
to do that well,
Whoa.
for how long they've done that, it kind of gave them a leg up on everybody else. So that
True.
even whatever they might rejig and bring back over here, terrestrial TV is such that there's a lot of our mothers and fathers far away.
It's appointment
Kodi Classic,
television,
guy,
man.
you understand?
It's appointment
There are no
television.
options. Abana Netflix, you know what I mean?
Next.
I can't switch this off. If I switch this off, I'm going to what? SABC 2.
It's still the same even now.
It's still the same even now.
Yes, because the numbers are still
Yeah.
good.
So by virtue of those numbers,
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time before you get enough numbers
You know
to
what I
make it
mean?
work anyway.
Yes.
And personally, I hold nothing against that, like anyone that took that job.
Mm.
Even the people that are part of the generations of legacy now, so many are my friends.
Yeah.
So many are people that I respect wholeheartedly.
True.
You know? Because if I'm going to say to you as THAMI MNGQOLO from here,
Ungathathi
"Do-
lesibani.
do- so ngikaya." You know what I mean?
What option are you
your
giving
bond and your things in your life, like how am I adding to your bottom line?
Yeah.
You know?
Jeez.
There is no other option.
So the moment when you had these big names, you knew it was over.
Yeah, for me that was the first nail.
Yeah.
Which, they might get along with, they might get away with being able to bring this back and do something proper.
That can
with it.
work. Yeah.
Something that can work, because that's all they need right now.
Were you guys having meetings?
Us among ourselves?
Yes. Or
Yeah,
even
still.
if it's
No, still.
Hey, it was so.
No, man, until maybe 2 years ago now was the last time we.
Even
sat
as
in
recent
earnest.
as
Even
that.
as recent as, no, because for us there's still a case. There's still loss of income. There's still, do you know what I mean, all of those things.
Yes, eh?
Yeah.
It's
No,
not
absolutely.
just.
It's not just that.
Yes,
It's not-
we were fighting.
Because some people say, no, fine, no, we'll speak to you guys, to them, for you guys to come back to generations. And I'm like, I don't want that. No, you know what I mean?
Do you still want to come back?
No,
there's still that.
no,
There's still
no,
that.
No, that ship has sailed. I had a great time there,
Yeah.
but I've thoroughly outgrown it. You know, I'm more than happy to pass on the baton to other people over there, because
Yeah.
it is a great platform. It is a great place to launch yourself.
True.
You launch your name, you launch your brand, your career from that point on.
Because that's what generations did for a lot of people.
Anga Makubalo, for instance, you know, the rise of his musical career
Is because
is
of that.
owed by just the mere presence he has and he's able to generate from being on generations.
Incredible.
You know, so
Do you know, I look back at that you say you still met until 2 years ago.
yeah,
That means the
the group still exists. Even, you know? We still say happy birthday. And,
all of the hey,
condolences and that kind of thing. Yeah,
there's a new baby.
No, when there's things to mobilize in the industry here, you know what I mean. Nah, we still talk. So
Do you feel as a group, or maybe you individually, that you lost the fight?
not at all, not at all. I mean, yes, in terms of that battle and our expectations and what we wanted, we did not get that.
Yeah.
You know, but if you look at the progressive growth of everybody from that point on, who was still acting and part of the industry,
Yes.
you might not have seen some of the best characters we've been fed with, in the past couple of years, and acting careers grew from that. In terms of the economic outcomes, yeah, sure, there's still so much more
Yes.
to be done, but it thrust us into a conversation. It thrust the entire industry into a conversation that I'm hoping even people that hear this now to say, "Aibu, Kanti, it's not all hunky-dory and lots of money and it's a lot of sacrifices."
It's not a glamorous life.
No,
Yeah.
You bring the glamour, you act that out for yourself.
It's
No
your
one
business.
teaches that to you, no one gives that to you.
And the money doesn't even justify the glamour.
No, it's a job. It's a job like any
Yes.
other.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hours are even worse. You know?
Yes.
You
With
do back-to-back
little
5
money.
o'clock- With little money.
Yeah.
You know? You're waking up at 4:30 for a 5 o'clock pickup. you
Sure.
know, To be on set for 12 hours, which only starts officially from 7 o'clock when you have finished breakfast.
Yeah.
Which means that's essentially until 7 o'clock the following day, to be up at 4:30 again the following day. So, it's those things that people need to be made aware of. I really think it's a call for more awareness. People just need to know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's beautiful.
And there's still a lot of interest by young kids who will be watching this thinking,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
want to be on Generations.
Oh,
I want to be
absolutely.
on these productions.
For me, there's nothing more fun outside of sports, but there's nothing more fun than portraying someone else's life, stepping into their shoes and immersing yourself in that.
yeah.
You are having fun. You really are having fun.
That's why they say you shouldn't get all the money.
Right, but like a sketch.
Because you're having
Because
fun.
no one watlala.
Watlala,
Watlala.
You will laugh half the time. Jeez. Let's go back to, and I like that you're segueing us nicely to that, to the beginning of the career.
Yeah.
But where were you born? Where was THAMI born? Because you have many names, my man. You don't have many names. You don't have two.
Thamsanqa,
Yes.
Siluka Zukile Mngqolo.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
Jeez. So where were you born?
Born, raised Kimberley. Northern Cape.
Kimberley boy.
Kimberley born.
So do you have the Afrikaans tone?
Ya rabua mona.
Yeah, mona.
Ra di itse tsewa.
Yeah, you man.
It's me goeters.
Ene ba rogana batho ba nayo.
Eseng bikinyana ra.
Yeah, batho ba Kimberley ba na le hlapa mona. You.
Eseng bikinyana. But Kimberley people, man, I love my people. It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism.
It works.
It's something to keep you far away from me. Don't come close.
Yeah, but
Because by right, if you do come close, man, can't trap. So I need to keep you far away and check out. Hey, manita.
yeah,
Wow. Next time.
There's such a it's how do you guys have such a heavy Afrikaans tongue? Tell me about the demographic of the environment.
Demographics of the province are such that it's maybe 30% colored.
Okay.
And depending on where you are, it might be up to 60%.
So in Kimberley in particular,
In Kasi,
yeah.
in my Kasi, my neighbors this side were colored.
Yeah.
2 doors down, colored over there. So Afrikaans is literally the spoken language in the street.
Yeah.
Tswana is actually a close second.
True.
But the number one language to know, if you want to know your way around Kimberley, is Afrikaans.
Sure.
And to know how to speak it or at least understand.
That's why even the Tswana has a
Yes.
an Afrikaans
a
twist to
Bora
it.
Tamayong.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
man.
Tswana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the Afrikaans influence in that.
It's heavy.
It is heavy. But I'm from a Xhosa family.
Okay.
And went to St. Patrick's College.
So your language is then it spreads out even wider.
Yeah.
Because then there's a Xhosa, strong Xhosa roots with a Tswana and Afrikaans.
So it's Xhosa and English that I grew up with.
Yeah, of course.
In the household and school, of course.
Yeah.
And then when I hit my teen years, you begin to realize, man, when I come hang out here at the corner or Hartlala Polo, communication is crucial, man. It's crucial.
I should know.
Because you aren't being picked for certain things, or there's certain girls you now can't speak to because sorry, budi ga go gutli.
Yeah, man.
O
reng motho?
So o reng motho? Hey, budi kopon tlogele. So
Jeez.
I orientated myself and immersed myself in the culture now.
Yeah.
In being a part of, because you know how protected we are. CBC, you get picked up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You spend your whole day at
Dude,
school.
you're like this.
The
world.
Yeah.
You don't even see it.
Shut
What
off.
do they call them in Afrikaans? Oogklapper.
Yeah, oogklapper.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the world that I grew up with. And my grandmother was a blind former school teacher and principal.
Whoa.
So by age 5 and 6, I can read and write Afrikaans.
What?
and English. By the time I started school,
You were...
I was here already. You know what I mean? Those sound cards and phonetics and
you could do that stuff.
I could do that stuff already. Like this was my grandmother's pastime. As soon as you come back from school, you are back in
We
here.
do these
and
things
you are
now.
reading. And so I was an avid reader. And I was very much about my academics.
The school.
And whatnot.
Yes.
But I've told my later. You know? The teen years, the early teen years, and now beginning to realize, man, when my parents are at work and far away, I've got my curfew is not 7 o'clock anymore. I can stay out until 8.
Yeah.
You know? I can hang out with the
No one
chicks.
is saying anything.
No one's saying anything, you know. And I can't just have my friends, but never mama go school.
These
No
guys.
scheme,
Mukas.
you know. Social currency now is now becoming, an issue. So
It's an
I immersed
interesting
myself in
one.
that and learned Setswana. I learned the Afrikaans. Okay, yeah, I knew Afrikaans from school, but what's spoken in the street and
It's
compared
different.
to us,
Very different.
two completely different things.
Yes.
You know? So read and write English, Afrikaans, Xhosa.
Even now, you're still sharp. Your
Yeah.
Afrikaans writing is still great.
Yeah,
Mine is rubbish.
yeah,
now.
gaan baie goed, meneer.
I lost mine, man. I feel so bad.
Really.
There's a phrase I struggle with on my radio show. If it's nice, we play it twice.
Yes.
And we play it again.
Yes.
Yes, says I can't say it in Afrikaans.
Oh,
My
right.
brain paused.
What's the translation to this again?
as het lekker is, dan speel ons dit twee keer of weer.
Ja.
You see, I have to slow down.
Of dan spelen ze het nog eenmaal. Ja.
I have to slow down so much.
Because the translation of the CPU
I
here.
hate it.
Yeah,
That's why I say
yeah.
my Afrikaans is just gone to the dogs.
Yeah, but if you don't practice it, as
It's
with
like everything
in life,
else.
yeah.
Exactly. I
As with anything else
absolutely
in life,
lost
it
it.
just
Yeah.
disappears on you.
But you were raised by a nurse.
Yeah.
I
I was raised by a nurse and a mine worker.
Give me this.
You know?
Give me the economics of the family as best as you can. That is able to take a child to a better school with a bare minimum.
Yeah, me and my younger brother.
Yes.
So-
And the bare minimum at that time is you are not seen as the bare minimum. You are seen as a better minimum.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
absolutely,
Because they're able to do this. Give me the dynamics
Absolutely.
of decisions like that in a family like the one you were raised
No,
in.
and it was a big thing in my family because my father was against it.
Okay.
My father
Why?
didn't see the necessity.
For a better school.
Why that one? Like, why the most expensive one?
Ah.
Because there's Model C, yes. you know what I
not-
mean? I mean, like, we could go to a Kimberley Junior School or a Earlier
Okay.
or whatnot. Why are we choosing the most expensive one? It's like, that was his only issue. Like, what is this?
Hey, Mfazi, let's talk.
Let's
tear it
talk
up.
about this. But just to give you a brief background about that, my mother's mother, ma'am, she was the school teacher and principal, and she thoroughly believed in Catholic education.
Okay.
And Catholic education was crucial to her, and no compromise when it comes to that.
Wow.
So she was the champion for this cause, and I think at the beginning, it was even her money, her pension money and whatnot. She was like, "No, it's fine.
I'll pay for
I'll
this.
pay for it."
I want to show you it. Right?
Yeah. No, let's make this happen over here.
Yeah.
I will facilitate it. And then from there, you guys will see how you
I like how she put her money where her
Yeah,
mouth
no,
is.
put her money where her mouth is. I had a TV by age 9. Like, things I asked for. If I worked hard enough
School.
in terms of school and show her my progress, she'd be willing to do anything for you. You know? So I asked for a TV and I got a TV because I let TV game. You know?
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
what, like,
yes.
I keep getting told for a TV game, it's in your TV. Da. Okay, fine.
Give me my tea.
Give me my own TV. You know? She was like, fine, my money will buy Tammy's TV. But she was that person.
So affordability
strong
was an issue. However,
It definitely was.
Let's
oh,
push-
no, it
let's
definitely
push
was. This is
this.
a nurse's salary. This is a mine worker's salary. And I think yes, my father was personnel officer at the time, but because of a bad hip, and but it's not.
oh, he
much,
wasn't.
so,
He wasn't.
You know, yeah, he
digging.
stopped. He stopped
Yeah.
maybe 10 years before that.
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
In fact, he retired from the mines because of hip replacements.
Okay. Wow.
You know, he could
yeah.
he couldn't carry on with that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think 93 was when he retired from full
Completely.
work. But
yes.
yeah, that shifted him to politics now full time.
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So yeah, it was that dynamic, but really not much money to go around. And it's a strange thing where everyone Mokasi thinks cheese boy.
Hey man, you
You
get
know
into
what I
a
mean?
cab to
Yeah,
go to school.
yeah,
And
Wareya, boy.
you put on a blazer.
There you go, you put on a blazer. Like you have a nice school bag.
That
You have all
changes
these things.
everything.
Everything. But a dynamic, I am literally, there's so many class trips and whatnot. I simply did not go on because Zagage. You know, we have the money to get you to school and be passing over there. That's all you must focus on.
Yeah.
Don't focus on other things.
They must go to a trip. You
so
come
I was taught
home.
very early, good to know. Be satisfied with what you have. Thank your lucky stars for the things that are brought into your life. Count your blessings and be aware of your privilege.
Yes.
You are privileged compared to others. And if it's one thing that my dad instilled, and the love for sport and all of that stuff, because Shem, they went above and beyond when it comes to, and like you know how it is with these private schools, when it comes to sports equipment and stuff, you buy your own,
dude.
You know,
you're paying them 100K,
yeah,
and you still have to buy a bat.
Do your own thing, buy your own bat, buy your own gloves, buy your own, you know. I remember.
So it wasn't easy.
Wasn't easy at all. Wasn't easy at all.
Yeah.
But his lesson was the privilege that you have, the bat and stuff that you have, all of your old stuff. Call your friends, come play here. Come teach them. Let them play cricket. Let them benefit from
yes, what you're getting, bring it to the hood. Yes.
You know? And it was great because I spent all of my afternoons just immersed in sports and my friends and all of those things. And you stay out of trouble that way.
There's something to be said about that level of sacrifice.
Yeah.
The level of sacrifice that says, I cannot afford to take my child to that school, but I will just make sure that it happens. Over and above. I'll make sure that, because if a lot of parents would do that, because I can imagine what, and you probably don't know as a child, what they had to give up.
Right.
To make sure that you got better education.
Right. No, definitely.
Jeez.
Definitely. And we take it for granted when we are younger.
Yeah.
And you look around you, and you know, kids are being picked up in PMs and stuff. E20 that's going to get you. And sometimes that means 2 hours late. You know, sometimes it doesn't come when it's the. I remember one cricket match, I think under 11 or under 12, and all of the other kids, as soon as we're done with the cricket match, we were playing at another school. So we get dropped off back at the school, and everyone waits for their parents to come, and they get picked up one by one, you know. Yeah. People leave. Some people's parents are waiting there.
Of course.
Know? My parents are in 12-hour shifts and stuff, so it's not my parents picking me up. It's Giddy Man by transport.
Yes.
He's got the brief, we think.
You're playing cricket at another school.
At another school, and we are being picked up at school at 5:30 when the game ends.
Yes.
6:30 hits. Everyone is now left. And I'm the last kid now around with my bag. There's no cell phones back then. There's no quick WhatsApp.
There's nothing.
You know? I try and make a reverse call to my mother's work for her to hear, to see what's going on. Maybe I can come there because the hospital, Kimberley Hospital, is not far from CBC.
Okay.
So it's literally a walk. If she's at work, sometimes I can just make that across.
Yes.
Make that happen. I ended up staying until 8 o'clock.
At school?
Yeah. Diamond forgot about me, or he just decided, I'm not going to go back for one boy.
One kid.
No, eventually the brothers, they organized a plate of food in the hostel. I was
because it's a thingy. It's a
Christian
it's
Brothers
a boarding
College.
school. It's a boarding school. Yes.
So organized lunch, dinner there with the boarders, and eventually I think my aunt came.
Yeah.
After her shift.
When they all realized.
They knocked off. Good
man. Still at school.
8 o'clock. But those are the kind of things that happened all the time, you know?
Jeez.
And you only realize your privilege later on. But at the time, you are hating your life. You're just like this, ain't it?
It's like,
I don't want this anymore.
You don't realize this is the best deal.
This is the best deal. You are having the best of any world right now.
I like how you recognized the deal was great. Eventually. Because not everybody recognizes how great the deal is.
It's privilege. It's a level of education, number one, because the school is not so big. Very personalized.
Education.
Yeah. You know, just the level of education, just the level of personal interaction with your teacher every day. Charting your progress, and I remember hating it in my rebellion years now in high school, where it's not cool to be the number one class anymore. It's not seen as currency among your friends, and you fall for stupid things now.
What do you want to be now? I don't want to be that cool.
No, man, no. Like back then, you get caught up in stupid things. Yeah. Because these ones are getting attention because batala ball or batala rugby or cricket. You want that same not your own
academic
thing. Academic thing.
It's boring.
Chief, please. Now I must stay for extra classes because I have greater aptitude. People are going home at 1:30. What is?
Yes.
Now I must stay until 3:30 because I'm taking extra classes for extra maths and only because I'm good at it. But I'm good at it. Why must I do extra? Like as a kid,
want
you
you to
don't
be
recognize
great.
these things.
They want it to be
right,
great. Yes.
right. And I remember,
That's
and
interesting.
it's my father that made me aware of the privilege.
Mm.
Because he was one of the first to call me out and say, but, you are coasting along.
Mm.
You are satisfied with coming number 3 and just in the top 5 and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we know when you apply yourself, you get to number 1.
Easy.
I remember being irritated at them. I look back now, I'm surprised that he let that conversation happen and end the way it did. Because I walked out of there saying, but I just want to be an ordinary kid. Like this thing of being number 1 and being, you're putting so much pressure on me and I don't want it. I just want to be an ordinary child, Leave me alone with that.
Did it ever make sense though?
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it did, man, because life has a funny way of biting you, especially when you throw with middle fingers.
Yeah.
God works in mysterious ways.
Oh, no.
And even those ways, because then you realize, and that moment for me was grade 11 maths.
Okay.
Grade 11 maths, second term, first term. No, second term was when I dropped the maths. Because first term, 18%.
Chocho.
Lowest mark I've ever received for anything just because...
In your life.
In my life.
Laushe.
Absolutely.
Score.
Absolutely.
Eight.
18%. And just out of my pure own laziness and looking at other things and other kids and comparing myself and thinking I can also, You see Nicholas stand up and talk nonsense to the teacher and walk out.
I can also talk nonsense.
I can also talk nonsense. You know what I mean? I can also puff out my chest.
With
certain things. Hey!
What failure?
And when I'm a failure, you get pulled out of the school.
Yeah.
It's not just a talking to, So I had a very long conversation and chat. I think by then the hidings had stopped.
Yeah, yes.
It was just the
tongue lash.
The tongue lash. And it wasn't even a lashing. I think this is the one that worked because it was my mother sitting me down and saying, I can't. With what you are putting me through and the stress and what I go through at work and the peanuts I earn afterwards. Because my mother went as far as showing us payslip.
Joe.
Do you guys think I'm joking?
Nah.
Here it is.
Sure.
What are you saying to this? So it was that long conversation of just look at your life, look at yourself, understand where you are. Yes, life could be better for you, but think about how much worse it could be.
Yeah.
And the way you are carrying on right now, you are going to make it worse for you. Not anybody else. Not anyone's circumstances, not because your parents couldn't, not because you were forced into gangsterism and whatnot.
None of that. This is all you.
You deciding that you don't want this.
Those conversations don't always work though.
I know. I realize that now. I realize that now in mentoring kids and speaking to and raising my own.
Yes.
Because we have different circumstances. We have different things that make us tick.
Absolutely. That's why I'm surprised it worked with you.
Yeah, no, look, maybe also because they tried the hidings.
And
you know what I mean?
didn't work.
They tried and as a teenage boy, once you reach that point where you realize, there's a bit of strength.
I can hold this.
Like when you hold the belt that's about to hit you right now and you're stopping them from hitting you, you've kind of stopped the beating.
Yeah. No, you did. Because even they realize.
Okay.
Damn it.
Yeah.
This doesn't work
There's
anymore.
different ways we need to try and reach him right now. But this is not the one.
So it's mommy's conversation.
Yeah, it was my mother's conversation. My dad's always been a mediator. He's always been the diplomat.
Okay.
He's the one that comes in afterwards,
Yeah.
My mom was the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
I've never had a beating from my father. I've never had a hiding of any sort. It's been very rare occasions where he speaks loudly to me.
Okay.
Maybe the one day I forgot to go water the garden or, and I woke up late now, But never. So he was the one, good cop, bad cop. She would lay the law in no uncertain terms. He was the one that would come and make you understand why there needs to be a law.
Jeez.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That law is important.
Oh. And he's a politician, so it's that slow, labored conversation and big words that are just unnecessary right now. But there's a lesson to be learned, and he is very intent on imparting it.
And he will continue.
In whatever way is necessary right now, but we will speak.
Did you ever get the impression that Nemali, you were fine? And I asked this question because of the environment that you were exposed to at school and then that you were exposed to at home. Did you ever feel, here we good, Ekaya? Maybe not that side. Did you ever, even if it's Emali, but we are better?
You begin to realize that maybe when you're a bit older, as in the later teen years, But growing up, I always felt like I would be poor, man.
Okay. Like there's nothing here.
Like the fact that I have to beg for a pair of techies, you know?
I'm a Reebok.
And as a child, I was about to say, as a child, you're asking for Reebok techies, you're asking for this. And my mother was just straight up, I'm not going to buy that. Masambe siya chat. If anything, you know?
Get
You only realize later on that even being able to go to Jet is a privilege.
Yeah.
You know? But you are seeing the Jordans and the Nikes and the Adidases over
here.
At school. Sure. And you realize how much of those things you do not have. You know?
That's the poverty that comes to your
lunch. Lunch. Especially at those schools.
That's crazy. That's sad.
Yeah, and that's your reality. But like being a kid, man, you're resilient. Like you make it work because by, I don't know, age 12, 13, like somebody's kaftini anymore.
You want money?
Sharp. So 2 ranta or 5 ranta, however much it was then, I could stretch if I combine with 2 or 3 of my other friends who have a 3 rand and a 4 rand and a 5 rand.
Let's make this big.
So after school, then we'll go to the thingy over there and we'll get the rolls, we'll get chips, sigari. You know what I mean?
It's a bigger meal.
And then you make it work. Yes. And then you realize, oh man, Masim Church.
We're great,
It's great. Because when you go to the hood, Amachitako, as soon as you get home, are like, hey dog, thank God you share. Do you
know what I mean?
2 slices, more or something. Okay, sharp. Then you realize,
you are actually
your
better.
Your life is nice, Chief.
Yes, you're better.
Your life is nice. You know, say thank you.
Any big lesson from Daddy?
So many.
Yeah,
so many. I had a difficult relationship with my dad. Eventually, there was, as with a lot of black families, if there's one thing apartheid succeeded at, is breaking down the family structure.
Of course.
Time I was present all of my life. But presence in terms of financial and taking part in things and coming to school and whatnot kind of did his own thing.
Jeez. He was there.
He was there.
Yeah, he was there at home.
Yeah. Yeah. But he kind of did his own thing.
Yeah.
And there was talks of infidelity also somewhere along the line.
Hey.
And you like, you know, as a teenage boy, your mother, if you have a great relationship with her, is the be all and end all.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll be all right.
And that's the takeaway I had from that was, like what you are doing over here to the old lady. Like I saw for star na Fandiwan.
No,
I didn't raise it with him. I didn't rebel. I didn't have a big fight with him or whatever because what can you do? But I kind of like how I sort of know
Yes.
I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to make myself emotionally vulnerable or whatever.
You're just this guy in the house.
Okay, sure. Ita, hi dad.
Did he pick it up, do you think?
He did, eventually. Tried to reach out once or twice, but I always made it sound like, there's nothing wrong. He'll sit me down and have this conversation. I'm just listening. It's coming in here. It's coming out over here.
Yes.
I'm just like, because to me, I've kind of decided, and this is how I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
You know?
Ish.
You are not going to have this relationship you want to have with your son now that you feel you want to be forgiven for your sins. You know? I only understood the man much later. And sadly, closer to his passing.
Oh,
you know?
no.
We were bosom buddies by the end. But
not
those teenage years and whatnot,
tricky.
Like my mother was the be-all and end-all of my life. That's the only person that matters.
Yeah.
Like you go as far as saying, if I were to lose my dad right now, I wouldn't care. You know?
Jeez, it was that bad.
You think that?
You took it hard, though. Clearly.
No, I did.
For you to react that way, it means you didn't take it well.
And also because I had a very honest mother who made us very aware of how much he's not doing.
Uh-huh.
You know? And when we do come and ask for things, there's certain things I'm not getting because he's not doing. You know? If this could have been covered and this covered over here, then maybe I'm going on that class trip at the end of the year to market or whatever. But my mother's salary over here can't do all of these things. You know? And like I said, it's me and my younger brother. He's 3 years younger.
Yeah.
You know? So we both grew up with that resentment. He was far more rebellious than me. Like like when he got to his matric first year period, like he was straight out not speaking to time, you know? Because they'd had a fallout.
Oh yeah,
a fight,
like a proper,
and you this and you that, and who am I speaking to? No, you.
I'm your father.
Yeah, I'm your father. That whole vibe, you know. Yes. Like he was much more confrontational about it. You know? Like I decided to be passive aggressive and Cold War. You know,
and it worked in whatever it is that it.
No, absolutely, because I only understood him later on in life, you know. And my father was a speaker. He was a reader. He was and also just caught up in his own things. And you realize this later on, you know. And when he did get to speak, and when he did get to, there was so much to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and you look back and you're like, if only I should have, if only I could have. But, you know, it was just the way of my trying to deal with it and thinking I have dealt with it. And only once I have kids now and I'm an adult and contributing.
And you're the dad.
And I'm the dad.
Oh, no.
And I'm beginning to realize the sins of the father do not fall far from. You know what I mean?
Do you see some of him in you?
Yeah. Sadly and happily at the same time, but
well, if you're willing, tell us some of the sad bits you see in him. Or that you're probably sharing.
No, the
with
selfishness, the choosing yourself in love.
Yeah.
Choosing yourself in your relationship with alcohol.
Oh no.
Because yeah, man, no, I saw binging from that man. You know, like payday. Sometimes you won't see him 3 days. You know.
That's the worst version.
Comes back, you know, tail between the legs, very sorry, very apologetic.
Pele.
Never abusive, never, you know, someone that's gonna beat up everyone or where's my food or no. Just kind of did his own things. And I realized later, no, he had his own demons that he's dealing with in his own way, you know, and nowhere to offload properly.
No.
But unfortunately, the victims of that are your own family.
That's what
in how you are dealing with that, you know.
Justice.
But I began to understand those things.
Yes, and when you start seeing them in yourself.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely, and also in love, in terms of how you relate to women, and your attitude towards their duty, and what you assume is their sense of duty, because there's a selfishness in cheating.
Absolutely.
At the time, I used to say and honestly believe that I can cheat on the person I love and have it not affect how I love them.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe, I honestly believed at the time that it shouldn't matter what I'm doing outside with someone else because I still love you.
And I'm here.
And I still love you the same way.
Yeah.
But you are the one getting into my phone and seeing things and getting. If you hadn't gone into my phone, you would never have known about that person.
That's it. That's
true.
And
you would never have been affected by my love because there would have been no change in my love. I was still going to do all of those same things. And it's kind of things I had kind of picked up from there. Maybe I'd even heard it said from my father to say, but I still love you the same.
And the logic makes sense. When you look at it.
Absolutely.
It's like,
absolutely. Because we think we compartmentalize.
Yeah.
You know? These are two different worlds completely.
And
don't compare one to the other.
And you brought them together.
Right.
They were not together.
Right.
When I was Tibanisa,
right.
Manju we are Luisa.
Thank you. Wadola ndifuna iPhone.
Enulwa now.
Enulwa namgo.
Namgulwa now for shaking my phone. Oh boy.
Absolutely.
And that's you looking at the mirror and finding your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, he's always been great with people.
Yeah.
And how he can solve problems. Like one of my biggest strengths, even if I say so myself, is in a crisis I don't panic. I almost don't know how
to panic.
You know what I mean? People are running around. People are asking all sorts of questions, and through him, I've always learned to be solutions oriented.
Okay.
Tell me the problem, but don't dwell on the problem.
Okay.
Let's move past the problem and tell me what the solutions might be.
True.
And let's try one. Before you panic. You know what I mean? Maybe let's panic after the first, second, third attempt at a solution.
That's it.
Hasn't worked out. Maybe then we get to panic. But until then, let's lay this out. Let's and don't sweat the small stuff.
And you still like that from your dad
to this day, and actually getting better at that.
Yeah.
Like bit by bit, and also trying to keep calm in confrontation.
Yes.
Is like something I've definitely from my mother's side, but like much more combustible.
Okay, yeah.
Deal with something now. Speak your mind. Hey.
I see.
Right. Don't lend yenzayo because of and
the voice will get louder.
Yeah, and gets louder. And we are not solving problems.
No.
By doing that, you are just telling me the problem repeatedly.
So yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. When the explosion is such that there's a repetition.
Yes. And we are dwelling now.
Oh boy.
We are dwelling. We are immersing ourselves in this problem and the problem. That's when you feel like you have stress, but you haven't thought once about a solution.
No.
You just know what the problem is.
Why went that song?
You know what I'm saying? Okay, Maliam, when 5,000 young. No. Yeah, no. And this was my dad, literally, when it came to those conversations about money and because that's when you'd see him defend himself.
Okay.
But he never raises his voice. He never gets flustered the way you are getting flustered right now. He's not matching you at your level. Deflates the situation completely by saying, okay, I understand what has happened. How we are going to fix it. Tell me how we are going to fix it.
Listen to the tone.
And in terms of fixing it, you need to remember yourself.
Yeah.
Your wants and your needs. What are your wants? What are you like? No, man. Chief. You cook the time.
I like
now you're making it my problem.
I must admit, I like the guys who repeat.
Yes.
I like them.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Kasi pedi wa ropadi, man, ropadi, man. And then you come say, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
No, he was that guy. He will diffuse the situation very quickly.
I like him.
And then before you get way ahead of yourself, before you know it, you are setting up another meeting to say how we are going to solve it. Because we are not going to solve it right
No,
now. All of the emotions are high right now. We are not going to solve anything. By the time he wants to solve it 2 days, 3 days down the line, no one's there anymore.
No, yeah.
Financially, emotionally, we are removed.
No, yeah.
From there, sharp.
What did you eventually like about him when you were older? What did you find? That
knowledge.
Knowledge.
He was a reader.
Yeah.
A reader of note and everything, from biographies and like psychology books to just like having encyclopedias and things around. We had a library. We had a fully stocked place where you can just
grab a book
and disappear. I would often be found passed out in the room.
Yeah.
I would go to the top of the, those built-in cupboards. I'd climb all the way to the top with the book, start reading, and end up sleeping over there. People are looking for me for hours.
Jeez, man.
I'm up there,
Yeah.
So if there's anything, like more than anything, it's the love of books. Love of books and expanding your world,
Yeah.
As tough as this one that you live is, for you to transcend, you need to know what to dream about, and to think about.
Absolutely.
And to manifest,
Because it exposes you to worlds that you'll never be.
Absolutely.
And says there's this world that exists as well.
Absolutely. And I remember putting out those encyclopedias and world maps and stuff like that. Because they were there, I used to look at places in the US and Europe and Asia and be like, one day, if you could end up there. You don't know what that is. That says Phuket. Phuket. Okay, Phuket. Can you imagine going to a Phuket one day? I was laughing at that the other day and I'm like, Phuket holidays now are everywhere in terms of holidaying in Thailand and whatnot. I'm like, I learned that word at age 7 or something. Dreaming one day if I could go to a Phuket or something.
So right.
These are the things.
Wow. And other things about him now, in hindsight, that you wish you had then and you missed from him as a man now. As a man now. It's a man.
Yeah.
I wish that guy. And I ask these questions a lot because I didn't have the privilege of a dad at all. My dad passed on when I was 3, so I have no reference of this. And I'm always a huge part of me is jealous of people who had a voice of a man inside the house.
In retrospect.
Yes. Yeah. Because there was no. I've never said it papa to anybody my entire life. It makes me sad more often than not. But the reference of a guy who says something.
Yeah.
What is it that comes to mind when I tell a story similar to mine?
Look, for me, it's always going to be his spirit.
Yeah.
I look longingly at old pictures that he has. I think it was with my daughter's, my sister's daughter and son.
Yeah.
And just the kind of grandfather he had become. Very doting, very attentive, very, like all of the things he didn't do.
Finally,
he is now replicating and saying, no, you see here, this is my clean slate. You can judge me for old sins, but this is the man I am right now.
Yes.
But for me, it was always the peace in the spirit, man. The knowledge that confrontation can happen between two people without being violent.
Yeah.
And I mean even like emotionally, You don't have to be violent with your words. You don't have to try and break me down for you to get your point across. And in dealing with things, he might not have been that good with that in his own life, but really try to impart that on others.
Other people.
That if you have a problem with someone, Thami, it's very important to learn how to write an email. Learn how to write an email and use your words
to diffuse.
Use your words, diffuse, but also get your point across.
Yeah.
it's very important to not sleep ngezinto ezawufela ngaphakathi
Eish.
and you think they will solve themselves. If you don't confront them, no one else will, because only you know about them.
They'll stay there, or they'll get bigger.
Or they'll get bigger. You know, only you know the level at which these things affect you.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong in confronting a situation. It's the how. And biggest lesson for me in like to this day, I think even with that whole generations thing, you know, those emails that were typed up and whatnot, those first ones, like I was crying.
Yes.
You know, like I've got no problem, and I say this to my girlfriend now so much. I've got no problem having the difficult conversations, especially the ones required in love.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to fall in love. You are taken by emotion, you are taken by lust, you are taken by so many things.
Of course.
The relationship begins where we begin to teach each other how to love each other.
Yeah.
And those are the difficult conversations. To tell someone straight up, I don't like how you speak about certain things when it comes to my mother. Or when it comes to, you know what I mean? When you teach someone how to treat you.
Yeah.
That's the difficult part.
Jeez.
And I actually relish that. Like I look forward to that.
And it's a lesson naturally that you had to learn over time as well, because we're not born with a how-to book.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, there's no manual. You know?
No.
There's no manual. Worse for us as sort of first generation Model C kids. Because there's an entire socio-economic sphere of life that you are being thrust into. You could come home and lie to your parents and say, there's a book required, it's like 100 rand.
Yeah, it's called so and so.
It's called so and so.
Yeah.
They'll be like, skolo salo namar.
And then they
but
figure it
they
out.
give you the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so much of that world that they weren't prepared for.
No.
And we are the first bastions of that.
Sheesh.
But even for us, it becomes, you know, for the next generation, you might have been pioneered, but it's opened up so much more now.
Yes, exactly.
That, it's so, you know, it's that circle.
King David Studio Podcast.